welcome again to the Marg Experience. I usually have a lot of boys podcasts, so we always do the boys episodes. But today we're doing a little bit different, and today we're doing a women in business episode. And with us today we have Tanya Mora and Claudia Perches. Ladies,
Hello.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for finally inviting us.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Well, like I said, thank you for carving out some time in your very, very busy schedule to come in here and talk to El Paso just a little bit about what you guys are doing. I'd love for El Paso to get to know you ladies, the way that you guys and I have, a more personal relationship because we work together. I'm pretty sure a lot of people out there, they just want to get to know who you are, what you do, where you've been, where you're going, what are some of your goals and things like that. So, tell us a little bit about yourself, Claudia or Tanya, whoever wants to go first.
You want to go first, Claudia?
Go ahead.
Well, I've been in the real estate business going on 7 years now. I've been with you since I started. And
There was a slight gap.
Well, it was like 1 month
Yeah.
gap. Yeah, but then I came back.
Mm-hmm.
And here I am.
Nice. So you've been in real estate for about 6 years. Before real estate, what were you doing?
I was a teacher. For 4 years, taught kinder, and then I decided to join real estate.
Awesome. And yourself, Claudia, how long have you been in real estate?
I've been in real estate for 6 years, almost going into 7 this summer. It'll be 7 years. I've known you the entire time, but I just joined your team 3 years ago, going on 4.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So you've been in real estate for close to 7 years. You've been in real estate
Same.
since about 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in real estate for about 7 years as well, which, kind of brings us to different, paths that were taken throughout the our real estate careers, right? And somehow we found our ways back to each other. And you guys are currently listing for Point Homes, is that correct?
Yes.
Awesome.
Thankfully, yes.
So when you were a teacher, Tanya, what made you say, I'm going to become a real estate agent, or what kind of pushed you into becoming a real estate agent?
So when I was a teacher, I wanted to have the summers with my kids, to have that time with them since they were smaller than they are now. Now that they're older, I decided that to change my career path, help families become homeowners, and that's where I'm at now.
Oh, that's great. So your kids, it's crazy that you're talking about how young they were and where they're at now, because I remember Xander, our daughters are kind of the same age, and then Xander was 10 or 9 when I met him, and now he's driving and has a job and things like that. He lifts weights and stuff. Last time I saw him, he's a little man. He's a man now, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I met him when he was a little kid. So you've been here for 7 years now. That's crazy how I've seen you progress. And yourself, Claudia, before doing real estate, what was like your job right before real estate?
I was the trophy wife.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you were a stay-at-home mom?
So I was a stay-at-home mom. I raised my daughter. Thankfully, I was blessed where my husband was able to provide for us. So I stayed at home. I supported my husband's career and volunteered at my daughter's school. I also went to school at that time, too. I did get a college degree.
Okay.
So I did do me for a little bit, but I decided to. Everybody was doing, their thing, and I just decided it was time for me to do mine. And I decided to go into real estate.
Cool. And why real estate? Out of anything that you could have been, right? Because you said your husband, was there to provide for you, and you were there helping with, the raising of your daughter. I think that's priceless. There's no career personally that I can think of that would be able to replace that. Why real estate for you?
One, because the real estate industry is very forgiving. They don't ask you, like, what did you do before or what have you. Not so much fake it until you make it, but a lot of people, depending on your professionalism, they don't know how long you've been in real estate. So I wanted to have that capability where I could just go out there with both feet and just start in the business. I also wanted to help people, do and get their American dream, which is owning a home. So to me, it was really the capability of helping people. And plus, I loved looking at homes.
I know. Yeah, that's it used to be I remember, and it's kind of like a full circle moment. My wife and I, we found out we were expecting, Mario, and at the time I was working at, I think it was like Sprint or something, and we drove by a subdivision in Socorro by Point Homes, and I remember. We saw through the window, we saw the shale floor plan, which was like 1465 square feet.
I remember that.
Yes, the shale floor plan. And we were just, hey, this one's a really nice house. And from the beginning, I thought I was going to buy a point home. I ended up, renting for a while and then, just went on a completely different direction. But I saw the shale floor plan, 1460 something square feet. And I was like, this would be a great home for me to start, continue my family with, and bring, our son into it. And now it's crazy that we just closed on our new point home, custom point home, and it was a full circle moment for us. What are some of the struggles that you ladies face in this field, right? And just to give you a little bit of stats, the number one salesperson for real estate is actually a woman, right? Nationwide, the profile for number one salesperson is, woman, mother, things like that. Are there any obstacles that you ladies face in this particular business? Because at times it seems like it's a male-driven business, right? It seems like that it's mostly males, but the data shows otherwise.
You want to go first?
To me, I don't see it as far as the industry. I think it's the personal part. The raising of the children, the expectations of keeping the home, keeping the husband happy. I think that's a struggle that I personally see. As far as business-wise, I think we hang with the boys just fine. I think it's just the other excess stuff that we have on our plate.
Yeah, and I bet like you said, excess stuff, I can just pick up and go, I'll tell my wife, yeah, I'll be back. And I pick up and I go, not even thinking or knowing that the kids have practice, the kids have to take a lunch, the kids have a teacher conference, rehearsal for something, or 1,000 other things. Tanya, how are you able to manage that? Because I know that you have two little ones, that are still, maybe your daughter's a little bit older now, but you still have two little ones that are very much involved. I know that sometimes you tell me about volleyball practice and Xander's doing this and that. How do you keep a balance in that?
I have to agree with what Claudia was saying. I think that's a big challenge for me, making sure that I'm available for my clients, but then I have my children as well. It's a balance. I know that sometimes I do have to leave to pick them up. I do have the benefit now that my son drives, so once in a while, hey, go pick up your sister for me, so he helps me out with that. But yes, I still have to get home, make dinner. I'm very old-fashioned, where my kids expect their home cooked meals, and that brings joy to me to be able to do that. That's where I would say it gets a little bit hard, but as far as working with the buyers, the whole process with sellers, I love it. I love doing that. So I have no issues with that at all.
That's great. And it's crazy how you say that you have to get home and cook a home cooked meal, right? We've been moving for the past, week and stuff, and bringing our stuff back and forth, and not all pots and pans are not in the new house. And my son just says, Mom, I want a home cooked meal, because we're picking up drive through or carry out and things like that. He's like, Mom, when are you just gonna make us a home cooked meal? And we're like, oh, that kind of hurt. Didn't hurt in a bad way, but it's just like the kids they know more than you think they know. They're more involved than you actually think they know, and that's very commendable to you ladies and to all the ladies in the real estate space, right? Because this is very time consuming. A lot of people get into real estate to say, oh, I'm going to make my own schedule. But little do they know that the schedule consists of, 90 to 100 hours of, phone calls when you have a listing broker that's calling you, hey, what's going on here, and reports and meetings and this and that. There's a lot more that goes on behind the scenes than just what people think, right? That we open doors for them to see houses.
Oh yeah, and don't get me wrong, my kids know that if I have to go show a home, I do put my clients first, because at the end of the day, that's how I bring food to the table. So if I have to miss, sometimes sadly, a volleyball game or anything that my kids are doing, they know I've made sure that I've talked to them, and they know that that's what gets food to the table. That's what gets them the things that they want, not so much that they need, but that they want. So but my clients always come first.
Right. And it's a crazy mix of what we have here, right? Because you have to tend to the kids, they're smaller, and you're just in a different stage of your life, as maybe Claudia would be, right? Because as she described, she was the homemaker, she was taking care of the family, she was taking care of the home, and then she decided to jump into real estate. And I'm sure there's a lot of ladies out there that are going to be able to resonate with both of your stories, right? One of them is going to be in the position that Claudia's in, and another is going to be in the position that Tanya's in. What is some advice that you have, and we'll go first with you, Tanya, some advice that you have for those ladies that are in a similar position as you? Where can they find leadership? And this isn't necessarily a Marig plug. This is more of like internally. Where do you find the confidence? Where do you find the drive? And where do you find that to continue moving forward?
Well, that's a very good question. I think
I know it is.
We can all get lost. Sometimes this is a job that you have to have a lot of discipline. If you don't, you're going to get lost. So having a mentor that helps you out. I know that I had a one-on-one last week with you. Believe it or not, it did help me a lot. I know I was getting there to little time in my life. We all face struggles, and somehow having that one-on-one with you were able to pull me back, and I did feel a difference. That mentorship that we all need. It's important to, whenever you want to join real estate, you gotta make sure that it's a good fit for you, that it's not just about leads. Leads you can get anywhere, but if you don't know how to work them, then you're not going to get anything from them. But having a good mentor is going to help their career. So that's a big advice. Make sure you're in the right brokerage, that there's a mentor helping you. And that's pretty much my advice.
Great. And for you, Claudia, for someone who's in a position that you were in, or that you are in, because there is, ladies that are out there, and maybe, like you said, you finished with your mommy duties, and you're on to the next chapter of your life, because I know you have some exciting stuff. You're back in school, going for your master's, correct?
Nice.
Finishing off some stuff. What is some advice that you would give a lady in your position, where you kind of started real estate, maybe not right now, but about 6 years ago, where, hey, I'm an empty nester, my daughter's off to college, my son's off to college, my husband and I are kind of, just on a relaxed type of you're relaxing in your career. It's no longer that go. What is some advice that you would give to someone that's in your position, looking to get into real estate?
Well, the reason why I went back to school and went to real estate was to kind of empower myself. I kind of felt like I was lost in the sauce, trying to be the trophy wife, being the good mom. So like I said, real estate was very forgiving. So that's the reason why I chose this industry. But it was just to empower myself, know that I could do something. I could bring in my own money. Real estate does provide very well. It makes a very good living for everybody. But it's really joining the right team, having the right builder. As we all know, one of the main reasons why I chose to be with you was because of Point Homes. Mr. Villalobos is an amazing builder. I believe in the product. So it was just the right fit for me. So for anybody that's looking to join real estate is just really finding the right team. To us, it's not really a team. We're family. We have our internal struggles.
We fight a lot.
You fight a lot with us.
I do. Huh?
So to me, I don't feel like, oh, it's a team thing. It's like, oh, we're going to be with family. What's going on today or what have you. And it also helps that we have such an amazing product that we also represent.
You said amazing broker?
And an amazing
my
broker.
Bad. I'm just kidding. No,
So if anybody who's trying to get into real estate at this stage in life, which is pretty much my second stage in life, if that's what you're kind of getting to, Mario, because I've already done the whole raising of the children. I am an empty nester. But real estate's a great way to go to. And also it lets you know what you're made out of. It pulls out all sorts of emotions. It's stressful, but it's very, gratifying at the same time. I love my clients. I kind of pick and choose my clients too. I don't work with just anybody. I make sure that we mesh well.
Yeah.
I love going to baby showers. I'm actually going to a promotion today from one of my previous clients.
Yeah. That's actually something very particular about you ladies, and I see some guys do it as well, but it happens a lot more with the ladies than it does with the men, and that's the relationship after the transaction. The relationship after the transaction. I feel that with the ladies, I always see, they're, like you said, baby showers. I've called you before. Hey, what are you doing? Oh, I'm at this client's baby shower. And I'm like, what? Didn't you just meet him 6 weeks ago? Yeah, and we're friends now. We're cool, right? They're naming their second born after me and stuff.
Oh, how funny.
I don't know about that.
So, no, but it's really, really cool how you can nurture a relationship to the point where they feel that comfortable to invite you into their home. Because, like, the baby shower part, the promotion part, those are very intimate or close-knit functions, and now you're being invited to them, which means that you did a great job throughout the transaction. It means that you did a great job throughout knowing them, and it wasn't just a transaction for you, right? Like you said, you pick and choose who you work with. You pick and choose whether, you mesh or you don't mesh with those people. And a lot of people know that when it comes to Claudia Perches, we're either going to mesh or we're not. And there's not going to be an in between, right?
Right.
Tell me a little bit. I know that we discussed you guys being listing agents for Point Homes, community specialist. What community are you representing for Point Homes, Tanya?
So I'm representing Haciendas de Socorro in Sunset Valley Estates, which is off of Horizon and North Loop. It's an amazing community. Socorro has grown so much, and it's still growing. It's not the Socorro that we used to know 20 years ago. It's there's parks. It's a really nice community. I'm very happy.
There's always been parks. I grew up in Socorro. No. Chill.
Not that there hasn't been parks, but there's more. There's, you're seeing a lot of stores opening. It's a great community. I love working out there. For anyone that's looking to buy anywhere in El Paso, let me know. But yes, happy to represent Socorro and happy to represent a great builder like Point Homes.
Definitely. And you're also representing Point Homes in another area of town. Tell us a little bit about Villas del Norte, right?
Yes. So I am the latest and greatest community specialist for Point Homes. I do represent Villas del Norte off in the Northeast after being away from the Northeast, 6 years?
Yeah, we hadn't built out in Point Homes. I remember that was like the first area that I started in over in Mesquite Hills. But, Villas del Norte is a lot closer than Mesquite Hills is, right? Where's Villas del Norte located?
So Villas del Norte is located off of McCombs in between Dyer and Sean Haggerty. It's actually in an established area. I'm pretty sure the people that have been living there for 20 plus years have always wondered what was going to come about this parcel of land. So now it's a new community. So that's what I personally love about this community is that it's already established. You know what you're getting yourself into. You know what schools are there, what restaurants are around, what high school, hospitals, you name it. It's an established area. Homes have been around that area for 20 plus years. So people who are buying in, they're weren't even aware that they were coming up and coming. But I've noticed a lot of people who are buying are already from the Northeast or retired military or current military.
That's cool. And it's crazy how both of you are like, oh, well, there hasn't been a lot of stuff going on in the Northeast for the past 6-7 years. And all of a sudden, boom, 1,500 home sites, right? Same thing with Socorro. We've seen, it was slow, but now a lot of growth in Socorro. I'm thinking it's because, number one, in the Northeast, you have the new Meta campus that is coming up, a $5 billion investment by Meta. Known Facebook, they're investing $5 billion over there. You have people like Paul Foster, who did like a land swap with the city of El Paso, and they got, I think it was a couple thousand acres as well, in which they're going to develop a mixed use, commercial, retail, and I think it's a multifamily and residential, so they're going to do that over the next 10, 15 years in the Northeast. And Socorro, you have a lot of industrial coming, right? Because Socorro is so close to the Zaragoza Bridge, the port of entry, and the way the way shipping is starting to work after COVID, that was a game changer. We have the big Amazon center right off of Eastlake, right? That brought a bunch of jobs to the area. And then you have a lot of industrial going up on Waco Tanks and North Loop, close to these subdivisions, where what is that going to do? It's going to bring a lot of jobs to the area. Once the jobs are created, it's going to start bringing retail. It's going to start bringing multifamily. It's going to start bringing just more people to that area. Great developments, correct?
Definitely.
Yeah. So that's definitely the reason why Point Homes chose to go into these communities, with not just, 10, 20 lots, 40 lots at a time, 50 home sites at a time. Tell me a little bit, kind of going back onto the real estate side. And I know we sidetracked to Point Homes, but what is one of the most memorable transactions or situations that you had with the client, and either one of you can go first, but what is kind of like your most memorable transaction, even if it didn't close, right? Because I had a transaction once that a client, they closed on their home, so they went to the closing table. By the time they got to the office to pick up their keys, I had the lender calling me, telling me, hey, do not give keys, this person just lost their job. So that was one of the most memorable ones, among others, where I forgot to tell clients the fridge is not included and I had to pay for it. And I've had people die before the week of closing, things like that. So what is some of the most memorable ones that you've had, Tanya?
Wow. Well, there's been a lot of families that I've helped throughout these years, but I would say it was a single parent with their children, a single mom, and just the happiness that I was able to see for her to be able to do it on her own, get her American dream for herself and her kids, and seeing them being so happy running in the backyard. They used to live in an apartment, so to see that happiness not only in the kids but in her face as a mom, to be able to provide that for the kids, it was beautiful. Those are a couple of the things that make me be in this business, because it's really nice to see people have their, get their American dream, become homeowners. It's a beautiful experience that you get to live with them.
Yeah. And it's crazy how home ownership for female home ownership is on the rise right now. That's actually, Latino home ownership was one big one, but right now the one that's surpassing just Latino home ownership, is woman home ownership. That's really, really good, really commendable, right? Because smart. As you said, smart. The ladies want to get out there. They want to give their children, and not that the gentlemen don't, right? But the ladies want to give their children more, and that's why home ownership amongst females is on the rise in America. That's an interesting fact. How about you, Claudia? What's one of the most memorable transactions that you've had in real estate in the past 7 years?
I believe it would be with the military family. When they reach out to you, they're not even in station. They have no idea what they're buying into. And it's just finding them the right home in the right location and having them believe that you are capable in knowing what they're looking for because they're not here. They're completely in a different state, they're far away, and it's just trying to make sure that you are matching all their needs and their wants and getting them exactly what they're looking for in a completely different state. And just the back and forth with them. You know, it was supposed to be a 6-month build. It ended up becoming a 9-month build. But it was a great relationship, doing the pictures, the videos of just the build time, watching their house being built with them not even being in sight, not being in the city, and then having them fly in and doing that one-on-one where you finally meet them, because you never had that interaction, and then going to their home site and then just getting that, oh, okay, like this is perfect. Like you knew exactly what we wanted, and just getting that,
Yeah. And that's crazy that it brings you like, joy. And it's kind of like sight unseen because not only sometimes are they not only in the city, sometimes they're not even stateside, right? I've had clients that are closing from Germany, Japan.
Yeah.
And you're like, how did this person, personally, I'm just a little bit different the way I think. And with you, it's great because you have, you're an Army wife, right? Your husband is or was in the military. So you know the process of, being stationed elsewhere and having to find a home. And I feel like people resonate a lot with you in that sector, in the military sector, because you know what they're going through. When they're going through basic camp or when they're going through whatever it is that they're going through, because you've lived it, right? You lived it for years until you finally settled down in El Paso. And I think that's why you're able to make these great connections with people and you end up becoming friends with them afterwards. So if you want to start being Claudia's friend, give her a call. And Tanya, like you said, that mom with the children that wanted to just, get something better for their children, you kind of bond a lot with those ladies because you're in a similar position. You were in a similar position, right? You started off 6 years ago, being a teacher, and you're like, what am I going to do? How am I going to provide for these 2 children at the time? And now they're, 2 young adults that you've been providing for the past, I don't know how many years. So Tanya, if somebody needs to get a hold of you, where can they reach you at?
So you can reach me at 915-525-2944. I'll be more than happy to assist you in whether you want to buy, sell, any community. I'll be more than happy to assist you.
Awesome. And Claudia, where can El Paso reach you at? Or if you're not even in El Paso, if you're watching this from, out of town and they're relocating to El Paso, where can somebody reach you at?
You could reach me at 915-345-4741 or on Facebook. Just look for my Bitmoji.
Alrighty then. Ladies, thank you very much for being the ladies in business that I look up to. I hope we can do this very, very soon with some different updates. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for having us, Mario.
Thank you for thinking of us.
Roll the credits.